Looking for reliable,
listening to
professional,
Ion Dependency.
hassle-free
We
vehicle
don't
care?
just
Then
share
visit Junior's
stories.
Holdings
Sundays
Limited,
from
the
10
one-stop
on the
auto
most
shop.
influential
From
name
routine
in
maintenance,
radio.
diagnostics, air conditioning,
95.5
electrical,
FM.
engine repair,
You're listening to
inspections,
Ion
and much more.
Dependency. We don't
keep your
just
vehicle
share
under
stories.
contract.
We
New
change
convenience.
lives.
They also offer pickup and delivery services, interior cleaning, and digital billing for a faster,
You're
smoother
listening to
experience.
Ion
Whether it's
Dependency.
maintenance,
We don't just share stories. We change Dependency with Garth
looking
and
for
Natasha.
reliable,
Sundays from 10 a.m.
hassle-free
on the
vehicle
most
care? Then
influential
visit
name in
Junior's
radio.
Holdings Limited, your one-stop auto
I-95.5
shop.
FM.
From routine maintenance, diagnostics, air conditioning, electrical, engine repair, inspections, and much more. They keep your vehicle running at its best. Need convenience? They also offer pickup and delivery services, interior cleaning, and digital billing for a
Hello Trinidad and Tobago, hello world. Welcome to Ion Dependency, right here on I-95.5 FM, live on the Ion Dependency Facebook page when it decides to work, and YouTube channel. That one works pretty well so far, and we thank you all very much for joining us. We on this nice, cool morning here in Port of Spain. We don't know what the weather is like in your part of the world, but we are here as usual to bring you another lesson. This one for parents. How many of you remember growing up, especially with old school parents, and their teachings were passed on from generation to generation, and a lot of things were missed about their children? Remember those times when we had parents who insisted that we should aspire to be doctors and lawyers, and especially that was the first two things on their list, doctors and lawyers. You know, and take example from your cousin or your neighbor child, or look how well they're doing, and all you studying is to play sport and run down drum and music, and you know, we've heard it, right? You've heard it. It has happened, and I've always said, you know, the whip that my mom used, or that belt for us to beat book, I wish the same thing had applied for me to be a sportsman or a musician, because you see how that going today. You know, we have sportsmen around the world making millions.
Looking for reliable,
This is
professional,
Ion
and hassle-free
Dependency
vehicle care?
with Garth
Then
and
visit
Natasha.
Junior's Holdings
Sundays
Limited,
from 10
your
a.m.
one-stop
on the
auto
mo-
shop.
Paid millions
From
of
routine
dollars to do it, and they never thought about anything else. And sometimes they don't even notice the pain, even though they provide us, they still miss a lot. This morning we have Suzanne in studio with us, who's going to take us on that journey and tell us about her start. And also in studio we have Beverly, who's no stranger to independency. Miss Beverly Morrison, as you know, she's the director of Serenity Place Empowerment Center for Women. And of course, we'll hear from Beverly, especially if you have a loved one now struggling with substance abuse. Beverly can help you with that as well. I hope those of you online are with us and you managing to see us. But this is an important lesson this morning for you, and we hope that it can help you learn something about your child or something that you miss. So Beverly's here, Suzanne is here, and we are ready to start this lesson today. Suzanne, good morning to you, and welcome to Independency.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Suzanne. Good morning, Trinidad. Good morning to the world. Thank you for the opportunity. It's my first time doing something like this, and I'm grateful to be able to share my story, and hopefully could encourage others out there to share their stories as well.
Yes, as we say here, every life is a biography.
Yes.
And no matter, once you're born, that's when your bio starts.
Yes.
And as you go from day to day, everyone has a story to tell, you know. And so yours is is one that can help. And of course, Beverly is right here. I have no fear watching your back. So, as usual, she's a very, very excellent guardian.
Yes,
She
yes,
has
she
been
is.
taking care of women for decades, and we continue to support the work that they do.
Yes.
So, Suzanne, tell us about your beginning, family, brothers, sisters, mother, father. How did that start for you?
So again, my name is Suzanne. I am 26 years old. I was born in Augustus Long Hospital. For the first 4 to 5 years of my life, I stayed in Santa Flora. That's where my grandmother lives. And after that, my father took me to live in Point. So most of my life, I lived in Point Fortin. My mom, my dad, me, and my grandmother when she was alive at the time. Suburban neighborhood. Quiet childhood. I would also call it weird as well, or strange. Why I say that? For me as a child, when it came to expressing myself, it wasn't an easy thing. It was very hard for me to make friends, very hard for me to socialize. I was always boxed up when it came to my emotions. It was very, very hard for me to be confident or be brave or speak out. I was always very, very timid. That was just a thing with me ever since I knew myself since I was small. Very closed up, very shy. The most that I would be able to be open is if it is when I'm with my cousins or my grandparents. Well, of course, relatives and people that I know. But regardless, it was still very hard for me to fit in then. I always felt like a black sheep, if that makes sense. It was very hard for me to fit in. When I would be in school, as I say, it was hard for me to make friends. I always felt like an outcast. And then depression and low self-esteem was a huge part of my childhood. I remember by the time I was 5, thinking to myself like, like why I alive, like I'm so ugly, like why I here, feel like I'm not good enough. Like from such a tender age then, I had those disturbing thoughts in my mind, which thinking back now is like, wow, it real disturbing, it crazy, and to know that it have a lot of other people out there who going through those same things as well.
Yeah. But Suzanne, you having grown up in a two-parent household, middle-class household, a situation that most people would think is fortunate.
Yes.
A stable environment for a family to grow. Yes. So you said a little bit about it at first, but take us inside of that home and describe to us what the everyday emotional experience would have felt like.
Okay, so in regards to my parents, I mean, they show that physical sense of love and support.
Yeah.
Again, if the physical means, pay the bills, make sure I go to school. One thing with them, especially when it came to image and standard, was education.
Right.
So, and especially with my mom was very, very strict on education because with her background, that's how she grew up. From what she had told me in regards to that too, when it came to education, that's how she was able to get love from her father especially because she didn't have the best relationship with both of her parents. But when she did well in school, she was able to gravitate towards her dad. So I feel like when it came to that now, she held on to education as a sense of...
And not just education as in being in school, but you have to excel.
Yes.
Right.
And it must be the standard of excellence. So you must make the highest grades.
Yeah.
For her, she was always about science. Like she would tell me, yes, you could be whatever you want to be and stuff, but like I know it wasn't the truth because the premise she was coming from underhandedly, it was that it must be science and it must be the highest grades because that is who she was.
Yeah.
She was always a overachiever. And with me growing up now and just not having that high sense of self-esteem, I started to think, well, all right, to make my parents happy, let me try to, excel in education and pursue science. And for me, I used to at that time look up to my mom and we were like, okay, wow, she doing so good for herself. And one thing with that too is very easy to look on the external when it comes to people, they look successful, or yes, they're successful, but if you don't have that peace or that sense of love for yourself, your world technically falling apart. But in the innocence of my mind, I was just seeing that physical life as, okay, well, you have that and you'll be good.
Yeah.
So for me, when it came to, as I said, yes, they showed that sense of love, but it always was still more physical. Like, yes, they would still say, I love you and be supportive in that way, but that was the underhanded intention. It must be towards science and making the highest grades.
But did you manage to achieve that, even despite the admonition that if you didn't, what was the alternative if you did not succeed in your schooling? What was the consequence of that?
When I say consequence, like what would have
what would have happened?
Parents,
Yeah, what would they have
tell her the honest
done or
truth?
said?
To answer from in terms of like a plan, at that time I honestly had no plan because of how I looked at the whole science thing as it. The mindset I had then was like, okay, I had to be, at one point I wanted to be a pediatrician. Then from then, well, I ended up pursuing MLT. That was when I went to university in 2019.
What's MLT?
A medical laboratory technician.
Okay.
Yeah. So like when it is you have the hospitals and patients come in and you have to take samples and blood work, they do all the work and submit the results to.
Yep.
Yeah. In terms of a backup plan, I really had no backup plan because I felt like that was it. In terms of consequence in regards to my parents, and when you say, you mean like in terms of if I didn't achieve the highest grades, or if
yeah. Was there a punishment, or was there any kind of?
There wasn't.
pushback?
It wasn't like they would beat me or anything, and I'd never experienced that.
Okay.
But through face expression and body language, and with certain statements too, you would see and feel the disappointment. So
Yeah.
like with me, for example, I was always slower in math. Maths was not my strong suit.
Same.
And I used to have panic attacks to do my maths exam because if it is I didn't get a high grade, I know mommy gonna be vexed with me. And when she get vexed with me, I gonna feel sad because I gonna feel like I let she down. And then my dad too, at one point in time, especially when it came to Form 3, he was real strict. It was like his soul split in half and part just went in he, and then he became mommy when it come to that strictness. So it wasn't that they was verbally abusive or physically abusive, but just that disappointment, like like it should I do better, or like it had to be this grade, or what going on here. But she used to give me panic attacks when it came to me not making that standard of marks, grades, especially when it came to maths. Something about that maths.
No,
But,
before you go on, you said something there that you said it made my parents happy. Now, did their parents ever at any time sit you down and ask you, what would you like to do with your life? We know we want you to become this scholar, this nerd, but what would you like to do? Really, did that?
Ever have that conversation, or did they recognize your abilities and your skills or things that were of interest to you? No.
Because I mean, people, if you're just joining us, we're speaking to Suzanne, speaking about her life, and because you went on to self-harm, we'll talk about that later. And now that I'm looking at your hands, I realize what you told me, and then you ended up homeless for a while and sleeping in the hospital. So it of course it triggered a lot of things, caused a domino effect. But again, going back to my question, did they ever try to ask you, would you like to do this, or are you interested in something else?
Again, like how Natasha was asking if it is they ever like take the time to recognize other talents and skills that I had, that wasn't a thing. Have they asked me? Yes, but it wasn't really genuine. It's like, okay, I'll ask, but we really still want you to do this.
Right,
if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like putting on the persona of, okay, let's look interested, but we really want you to do this. So yeah.
But what were your interests outside of what your parents were telling you to do? What did you enjoy doing?
What did I enjoy doing? Listening to music, to be
Right.
honest.
Okay.
Listening to music.
In terms of skill, because you spoke about being involved in sports and all of these things, so
Right.
it'll,
I was
Yeah.
involved in swimming at one point. I was not good at it, I'll be very honest. I was not good at it, especially when it came to the competitive level. My goodness, I was not good at it. But I was still grateful for the experience. I did track at one point. I wasn't too good at it either. I had my up moments, but when it came to sports, I don't feel like I excelled like I probably could have. But I was still grateful for the experience. But that too also took a shot at my confidence as well, because
Yeah.
now
You failed.
I still felt like a failure at that
Yeah.
time too.
Do you think if maybe you had your parents' support for these sports? Because I mean, I've had a similar experience in terms of being involved in sport as a teenager and looking in the crowd and the stands, looking to see your parents, and nobody's there. So if you had the support with swimming and track, you think you may have gone on to enjoy it more or to excel in that
I
field?
mean, when it came to the swimming, my parents used to show up, yes, but because I was so bad at it, I feel like I still would not have wanted to go on regardless.
Right.
When it came to
Okay.
the track, my mom never used to come, but my dad used to come at the time
Okay.
because he was a track guy. So,
Right. Okay.
like, he wanted me to, and this was the next thing too that I want to add to that as well too. Now I understand. I mean, I'm not a parent, so I try to look at this, what I'm going to speak about, from two perspectives. I know sometimes parents may, I using the word force loosely, but force the children to do certain things because in the long run they could see where certain potential could arise and where
Yes.
they may pursue a certain I guess career. But then by the same token too is something you have to be really careful about, because you don't want to force things on your child where it's like you're controlling the life and you're not allowing them the opportunity to voice their opinion or,
Yes.
or voice about how they feel. And I know when it came to swimming, well, no, okay, for the swimming I could understand because I couldn't swim at all, and I used to be bothered on the place when my family would carry me to the beach. So my parents put me in swimming, so I'd learn to swim. That I
Yes.
could understand.
Right. To be more confident in your water.
The
Yes.
track, I was forced to do that. I used to play piano as well too.
Okay.
I didn't even know I was going to play piano. All I know is Daddy say I'm carrying you somewhere, and that was in January of 2009. And then we came to this place, and I was like, Daddy, which part is? And he was like, you're going to start piano. I was like, okay, all right. I didn't even know about it. But yeah, when it came to the track and the piano especially, it was like, you have to do this. But, it wasn't like a conversation where you allow the child to still feel open to.
Yeah.
And then even it's not like if the parent explaining, well, I would like you to join this because I see
Because,
where you
yes.
could just throw you in, and it's like, okay, this is part of the plan. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So then now because of that, although I had the experience of playing piano as well too, eventually after a while I didn't like it too much. I could play the piano, I really could, although I haven't played it in some years, but because it wasn't an interest of mine per se, or I felt forced to do it, and then that mixing in with the portion of not having the best self-esteem, not excelling in the sports, not making the standards with education, is like, okay, whatever. Well, I'm probably going to feel like this too. That's
Yeah.
how I felt at the time. But looking back now that my confidence is a lot better, and I have that ambition in me, and I know that, yes, I can do whatever I put my mind to, and being in the program as well too, I get into not only just take out the baggage and the hurt and the pain and the things that I would have went through, but I get to discover me at the same time.
Yes.
It have so much things about me I discovered that I didn't even know I could do. I could sing. I didn't even know I could sing. And that does still shock me. I could do crochet, I could do painting, I could draw, and these are things that I would have bypassed as a child because I just didn't feel like I was good enough, because all I saw was a dark cloud in front of my eyes, you know.
Well, at what point?
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Independency, and Suzanne is taking us, excuse me, on a journey through her life. And, so far you're probably listening and saying, so what's the problem? So we'll get to that.
We get in there.
It's a build-up to what the lesson here is today. So thank you for joining us. Those of you on YouTube channel, Facebook, and on 995.5 record.
Right. So to just move on a bit, at what point did you realize that the way that you felt about yourself, your self-esteem, was shaping the choices that you were making in your life and the situations that you found yourself in?
When it started, I'd say probably secondary school. Yeah, especially later secondary school. I mean, of course, having low self-esteem would have already had an influence on my decisions from since before, but in my younger years, I never paid attention to it. But definitely when I became more aware of it, I would say my later teens. And when it is, I would have went on into starting university.
So you had parents who would, you want food? Okay, here's the food. But nobody wants to know if you enjoy the food, if it tastes good, if you're full.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And if they do ask, it's still a kind of underlying something. It's like,
and
okay,
if you say
just
no,
ask, but it's just to look at
yeah, exactly.
Right. So you're just being ungrateful then, because
Yes.
we give you these things and you're not doing well, but
damned if you do and damned if you don't. Yeah.
Because the parents are expected to provide, and I suppose as a parent too, as you mentioned, looking at it from their perspective as well as a parent, you're supposed to provide certain basic things, and they've done that. So the least we could do is, if you have the child, the least they could do is be grateful, as God said, and try to excel in what we think is best for you.
So were you allowed to have friends and have like a boyfriend? When you start off, especially in secondary school, you and this boy would walk home and were you allowed to do that?
That was not a part of my storyline. No. Allowed to make friends, yes. But because my self-esteem was so low and I did not like the way how I looked growing up, the idea of having a boyfriend to me was like a nightmare. Personally, like I would look at classmates or look at my friends in school and they have the boyfriend, but they don't want the parents to know, and then it have some of them the parents know, and I used to be like, how? I do think I have the courage to do something like that, knowing that if my parents were to find out, I would surely get a curtail, or somebody probably might try to hang me. I know my dad especially would trip off. Like, I can't imagine myself having like a big secret like that. No. But then, as I say, how
so
it is,
they didn't sit you down and your mom especially and tell you about the birds and the bees? They just discuss that?
Nothing.
So you had to, it was trial and error with you well, you never had a boyfriend?
I never had a boyfriend.
In your life?
Yeah.
And how
so
old are
lucky
you?
for them, I never decided to go and end up,
Right.
But
what did you see of
Just
your
now,
parents'
this is
relationship?
interesting.
No, I'll go in there. I'll get in there.
26 years, how old are you?
26.
Right, and never had a boyfriend?
Nope. That's what, the way how I grew up was not like the average young person, because by the time children is 13 and 14 years, they have a boyfriend. Some people end up losing their virginity. That's a normal thing with culture and with people. But for me, that was never me. I was never interested in it either. For me, it was just trying to focus on education, being isolated. The 1-2 friends that I make, I hang out with them, and that's about that.
So what did you witness or experience in terms of your parents' relationship or other older relatives who were in relationships? What did you see between your parents that would make you think, oh, this is something that I could have at some point?
I'm to answer that very honestly.
Yeah.
I find my parents' relationship was real weird. Real weird.
How so?
Real weird because, like, they would appear normal or loving together, but I knew that they didn't have love for each other then. to put it simply. They really didn't have that. They didn't used to get along. From what I witnessed with my dad, he had some. I mean, my mom have controlling ways too, but I knew that my dad had controlling ways with my mom, so I noticed that as well too. And then it had extramarital affairs outside of that too, and
With
so
him or
it,
her?
with him, I think, well, yeah, with her too, with both parties, but
Oh.
together they would look happy, but I knew that they were not happy.
So did you ever see any tender moments with them? You know,
Like loving moments.
yeah, you know, like mommy kissing daddy, and you pass
Holding
by the
hands
bedroom, it
and-
look on your hair, you know it inside.
Nah,
and all that.
I never heard
Okay.
that. Thank God,
Right.
I never heard that. Thank God. That would have traumatized me further. Thank God. To see them smiling and being lovey-dovey with each other, yeah, I noticed that. But most times they would argue or fight. Nothing physical ever happened in front of me to say I ever saw my dad hit my mom or see my mom hit my dad, but they would have a lot of fights. And I know that he used to be real controlling with her, from what I noticed. Like sometimes she would want to go out with friends and he would be like, no, she can't go, like
What?
that kind of thing. Yeah, it was a real weird. Them wasn't a good match. Them wasn't a good match.
So
So that would explain the reason why you were reluctant to try and find or have an example of what a loving relationship looks like.
And then and I am not knocking on, because I know it have couples out there where one partner a little younger and the other partner may be a little older, and that is beautiful and fine. I don't have a problem with that. Once, of course, it's two consenting adults.
Yes.
But sometimes, like, okay, with my mom, she was real young when she met my dad. Like, even my grandmother find it was real weird at the time. I find it was kind of weird too. But she was still like a teen, and my dad was like well into his 40s. No, he 40s. So I was like,
Oh,
what?
oh,
Like,
okay.
she young enough to be well, not your granddaughter, but
your
your
child.
daughter. Yeah. For me, growing up, I find personally it was weird. So then, because you know how sometimes children just be excited to hear about how the parents meet
Yes,
and whatnot.
yes.
For me, it was
That
just
sounds
weird.
predatory, not weird.
Thank you. Yes, it does. It does.
So what you're saying, that he probably was a controlling person to the point, because I mean, asking to go out, a wife, normally a wife would say, look, I'm going out with the girls this weekend, right? Just letting you know, and he will tell her no.
Yeah. Not all the time, but
Right.
sometimes, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, and then he was a real arrogant kind of guy. So, like with me and my dad, a lot of the times where we used to fall out, it was always what I say is, and forget what you had to say, because I write and I always write. So we used to have a tug and war with that a lot. That's what our fights used to be about mainly. That him and his arrogance.
if you're just joining us, you're listening to Independency, and this is an interesting conversation here, I must say. And Beverly is trying to contain herself in the studio too as well. You'll hear from Beverly in a moment. I'll say good morning to the Serenity Place family
Yes.
down there in Cochran, in Point Fortin. But thank you all for keeping this young lady safe in under the watch of Beverly. And we'll tell you this program is brought to you today. We have a lot of people to thank for it. But this is an interesting journey. You will hear more when we return right here on Independency. Stay right there.
Today, more than 11.6 million people are in prison around the world. Too often, they go unseen, and too often, they are forgotten. But prisoners matter. Even when deprived of their liberty, they remain part of our societies and must not be deprived of their human dignity. This principle is anchored in the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for the Treatment of Prisoners, better known as the Nelson Mandela Rules. These rules were influenced by Mandela's own journey behind bars. After spending more than 2 decades in prison, Mandela showed the world that justice is strongest when it is matched with humanity. Today, the Nelson Mandela rules remain the universally recognized benchmark for prison management, and they are needed more now than ever because prison systems are under serious pressure. They are overcrowded, understaffed, and under-resourced. And emerging challenges posed by organized crime, conflict, and climate-related crises are compounding the problem. The consequences of these pressures are felt most acutely by prisoners, but also by prison staff, while making effective rehabilitation more difficult. Importantly, this matters to all of us because what happens inside prisons extends beyond prison walls. Most people in prison will one day return to their communities. We therefore need prison systems that protect dignity, reduce reoffending, and create real opportunities for change. As the custodian of the Mandela rules, the UNODC is working with countries to improve prison conditions, support rehabilitation, and promote alternatives to incarceration where appropriate. As we mark Nelson Mandela International Day, let us honor Madiba's legacy by translating the Nelson Mandela rules into tangible and positive change for people, prisons, and communities everywhere for a safer and more dignified future for all.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Dobson here from HMP London. Can I speak to Mr. James, please?
This is Mr. James speaking.
Thank you. Can you hold the line? I have a call coming through to you, sir.
Sure.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, yes, Brian?
Daddy, I'm just calling to tell you that I'm locked up in the UK for drug trafficking.
Oh, yeah? You lock up? And you tell me I was going to Bago? And I tell you about them boy I was liming with? Well, alright. Don't drop the soap. Cheerio.
Eye on Dependency. Reality radio at its best every Sunday on I 95.5 FM. Don't miss it. Eye on Dependency.
Eye on Dependency. Reality radio at its best, where every life is a biography.
She grew up in a two-parent, middle-class home. She had love around her, and still, nobody saw her. Nobody heard her. That invisibility cost her everything. Dangerous relationships, self-harm, a life without a home. This Sunday on Eye on Dependency, one young woman
Today,
steps
more
forward
than
with a message
11.6
every
million
parent
people
needs.
are in prison around the world. Too often,
Eye on Dependency.
Eye on Dependency. Reality radio at its best, where every life is a biography.
She grew up in a two-parent, middle-class home. She had love around her, and still, nobody saw her. Nobody heard her. That invisibility cost her everything. Dangerous relationships, self-harm, a life without a home. This Sunday on Eye on Dependency, one young woman steps forward with a message every parent needs to hear right now.
My name is Suzanne, and this is my story.
Her story carries a warning and a call to action. See your children, hear your children. Treat their gifts as the gifts they truly are, because silence inside a home can echo for a lifetime. Tune in this Sunday at 10 a.m. on I-95.5 FM or watch live on our Facebook page or YouTube channel. A voice ignored is a life at risk. Eye on Dependency. We don't just share stories, we change lives. Eye on Dependency.
Thank you for staying with us on this nice and cool Sunday morning, and we are in studio as usual. Thanking you all for your love and commitment to this program. Like I said, this, a number of people came together to make sure that we came on this morning. So we want to thank Mr. Roger Hammond Smith. When last you all heard that name? Former Chief Justice, Acting Chief Justice of Trinidad and Tobago, caring professional, the lady from the network of NGOs, I don't call her name, Sir Gerald Wilson, Rex Vidal, and of course we thank Margaret Miranda for sitting on that phone for hours and calling around to make sure that we continue our work. Let me just tell you something. It's really heartening that the love and care that we getting from people out there and who see the importance of what we're doing and insist that we must continue. We thank you very much for that confidence. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll keep going as much as we can. So thank you all once again. So, Suzanne.
Hi.
Yes. So you're back with us. And tell us now, how did it escalate for you to make the decision that you had enough and you had to leave?
Right, so...
Now remember, you're an only child.
Only child to my mom.
To your mom,
My
right.
dad had two other daughters.
And just to recap now, your father and mother, they were there but they never paid attention.
Correct.
They were there but they never listened.
Correct.
And you, of course, growing up with low self-esteem, you are fortunate though, because growing up with low self-esteem could, get you in a lot of trouble, to wanting to fit in and wanting to. So I mean, that this is admirable, that because people would not believe why. When I first heard your story, I thought, okay, this is another drug problem here with somebody getting himself involved in drugs, but it's not that. And this is what makes your case so unique. So tell us, what made you decide?
Right, so my mother's side of family, they have a standard as well too when it comes to the family faith, the family religion that we grew up around. And it's an African religion. I didn't want to follow that religion anymore because I'd realized it has nothing to do with Christ. And it wasn't giving me any fulfillment, and I realized it was carrying me down a dark, dark path. So I decided to change my faith and give my life to Christ. And when that happened especially, that was a big upset for my mom, because that is something that she was accustomed to as well. So besides the education, it had the family religion too.
Right.
That is on my mother's side of family. My dad, he was already dead, so he would not have known about me giving my life to Christ. But if he was alive at that time, he would have disowned me, because my father was an atheist. Anything to do with Christ or God, don't tell him about that.
Really?
Yeah, I remember one time when I was young, I was about 5 or 6. That's when my grandmother was still alive. I used to go to the Anglican church with her, and it was Father's Day. So, all the little children began to bring the father. And I begged my father to come to church with me, and he insisted he wasn't going because, it's church and God. And I remember I was like hanging on to him and crying like, Daddy, please come. And my grandmother was like, oh gosh, just go and support the child, and he insisted he wasn't going. That's how much he was against church and God. That's just who he was.
So he was against church, but then your mom was involved in another religion, and she wanted you to be part of that.
Yeah, and for a while I was a part of that because I was exposed to the religion from age 10, and age 10 to 23, that was the time period that I was in it. But it's really, really dark, and when it is, the Lord allowed me to realize that this have nothing to do with him, it's not of God. And I realized for myself, like, you're not going anywhere as a person, because noticing my relatives, my family members, they too weren't happy. They too was still struggling. You're seeing that they're not happy. I know I wasn't happy. And it was just a lot of darkness. That was just adding to the confusion I had within my own self. And so when I decided to give my life to Christ, she was real upset. She and my aunt was upset. My grandma was upset. And then after that, especially. And then on top of that too, I had made the decision that I wanted to, of course, live my own life. Because when I had started doing my degree, it was to follow along in her footsteps, science and, because MLT is science.
Right.
So I had no backup plan. I was like, okay, I would just follow through, do a degree, and I would do it just to please her. But I knew I wasn't happy because I was more or less just walking like a shadow behind her, thinking that, okay, if I do this, I could get her attention. I would make her happy then, still, regardless. Right. But I wasn't happy. And when I decided to put my foot down with that and let her know, this is not the life I want to live. It's not the spiritual aspect of my life that I want to live. And physically, I'm not happy with the decision that I made, the choices, especially the career path. Yeah, I know it's pretty fine to degree, but I'm not happy. And to be honest, I was only just doing this just to follow you, which is wrong.
So whatever you were doing, you was just to please your mom and to get that approval from her.
Which is wrong. But yes, that is exactly what I was doing. And again, me not having no confidence in myself, not having no identity at all, I just put it all in her, which is wrong. So when I decided I wanted to stand up on my own 2 feet and make a career change, I wanted to discover what other talents I had, and I had plans of wanting to become an entrepreneur, and well, that section will come later on with the entrepreneurship. And that together with leaving the family religion, she was real upset, and then she became really, really abusive. She was verbally abusive. She used to use well, I don't swear, so I would not say certain words on the show that she used to call me, but she was real abusive, verbally. She had abused me physically as well too. And in those moments, it was like a total switch. Total switch, because I was accustomed to seeing her one way, like she was happy because, I was following what she wanted me to do. But the minute I decided to do something different, then it's like, you see, a new set of colors.
Right.
Which was totally unexpected at the time. I wasn't expecting her to be as verbally and physically abusive as she was. And that continued to take a real toll on my mental health. And it got to the point where I decided to leave. But when my dad and had cut off contact with my mom's side of family because they were upset that I, like with my grandma.
Give your life to Christ. So
yeah.
Right.
And I'd lost contact with my father's side of family because when he was sick and dying, it had conflict with my aunts and uncles and my mom in regards to my dad and things to do with, settling certain things financially. Estate and that kind of, So it had a whole riff with that. And then, I don't know if you know the saying, when it is somebody don't like somebody, they're most likely not going to like the child by the same token. So it had some of that too when it came to me, because I already didn't like my mom, but I had nowhere to go at the time. But I'd reached out to them and explained the situation, and I was able to get through to staying by an uncle, staying by an aunt, just knocking from pillar to post. But even with me being in their homes as well, like with me growing up, again, depression, no ambition, low self-esteem.
Now, when you decided to leave home your mom, did she know when you left? You tell her you were leaving, or you just packed up one day and when she went out? And
no, she knew that I left.
She knew?
Yeah, but she didn't care to know about
she
where I would end
up.
To stop you? No, she didn't care to know about where I was going, or she just didn't care.
So wait, hold on. Mom are leaving home. Okay, take care of yourself. That's how it went?
Yeah. She just didn't care. Because she wanted, I guess because she wanted me out. It's like the abuse was so terrible. Well, it's like she wanted me, it's so weird, but she wanted me out of the house. It's like she became so, I don't know if what's the word is repel or
repulsed.
Yeah, because I no longer wanted to be a part of the family religion. That she also then wanted me there at the same time. So it's like this is your home, but I don't want you here at the same time. But while say here, I'm going to just be a thorn in your side at the same time. Now, yes, of course, at the same time, she would have liked for me to not make that decision so that she could still have that control over me. But by the same token, I'd put my foot down and I'd said I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave, and I have nothing you could do about it. I will find my way on my own. And she didn't care to know anything about where I would end up or where I'm going to go. Or
Did any of your relatives know that this was happening, or anybody?
My father's side of family, yeah, because
Did
I
they
reached out to them. And
Did they try to speak with her? And
uncle, yes, but he was friending with her, to put it simply. He was with her, so to say that he would have really cared to hear both sides of the story, and he was going to take her side.
Just now, hold on. Just now. Just now, hold on. Your uncle,
Yeah.
that is on your father's side,
Mm-hmm.
right, was in a relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So you see where it
The
be.
complications,
Yeah.
the tangled web.
And Jesus. And is it the same uncle you were staying by?
No. That's our
Okay.
next uncle, because my father side of family is big. It
Right.
was 14 of them, so he is plenty brothers and plenty sisters. So that's a different uncle.
Right. And did you speak to your mom about this, or you didn't have you couldn't tell her anything about
No.
it? But you know they were in a relationship.
Yeah.
And possibly could have been before your father passed too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
Hey.
Right. So
Yeah.
so you I don't understand why you and about no. So you pack a bag and your mother said, "Okay, have a good life," and you walked out the door.
Well, not literally like that. But
I know, yes.
Yeah.
And you ended up by
But a day when she wasn't home was when, like, she had already knew, but a day when she wasn't home was when I packed up and went ahead and
right.
leave. So
Did
I'd
she
end
come
up
looking for you to tell you
No.
come back home?
No.
Her only child. She just let you walk.
And where
And-
did you go when you left the house? Where did you go?
I was by one of my uncles at first. One of the main problems that had is an next part I was coming to as well. With how I grew up sheltered, and my parents really didn't teach me much of anything. So that low self-esteem, then laziness, then not having no ambition, not being aware, not knowing my tail from my elbow, all that was just other complications that add to everything. And so to put a long story short, well, people will tell you, yeah, you could come and stay by me, but see, man,
When
come
you-
live with me is two different
Oh,
things.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So then now all those things that I just mentioned now would have started to show itself in the home.
Yeah.
Me being lazy, me not, because and I mean, looking back now with me being different and not being lazy and being in that mindset anymore, if it is just staying by somebody, of course you need to show interest, that you're
Yes,
there,
that you
whether
could
it be
contribute
with
to the household.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that was the thing with me. I was so busy being caught up in my own trauma, my own stress, but it's like at the same time somebody still chose to allow me that grace to stay by them. I still should at least be considerate and have that awareness to show that where I want to contribute, because it can't just be by somebody and then they're doing everything and you just there.
Yes.
I mean, although yes, I was still working and stuff, but still, all those things would have been an issue in their home. So that's where I could acknowledge where I was wrong as well too. And so I end up again knocking from pillar to post by a uncle, by a aunt.
So
Then
you
they hear
left
the
them
shoo-shoo and the
eventually?
gossip. Yeah, the shoo-shoo and the gossip came about, and I knew, well, they
What do
didn't
you
want
think?
me
What were they were
there.
saying? What were the family members saying about you? You think? What was their opinion of you and your future or your potential?
I know when my dad was sick, to go back a little further to come to answering that question, because of how I was still pretty much supporting and stick up under my mom, and then they had issues with my mom, and because I believe my mom, like took her side. I know that would have, I don't know the full extent with the thing with my dad and the things they were trying to settle.
Yeah.
That still is kind of a puzzle that I ever so often just try to piece together, but I know it's also the past, and the past is the past, but I know that they would not have liked me for it. I know with my siblings especially, they don't like me. To be honest, they never really liked me. I guess probably because with daddy splitting up from their mom and then a whole new family.
Right.
So
These are
they
half
never-
siblings, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They were always, smiley and normal, yes, but they never really liked me. And it was the same thing with the family too, from what I heard. The family, this is what I heard, the family more liked my sister's mom a lot more than my
Your
mom.
mother.
So when the divorce happened with my dad and my siblings' mom, and then my mom came into the picture, from what I heard, the family wasn't too pleased with that. And then me being the byproduct of that, well, So, in terms of, well, I know because of that, they really would not have gravitated too much towards me, but in the moment of having no place to stay, I still reached out to them because that was like my last desperation point. But I don't know what it is that they may have thought in regards to my future, if it is they thought it would be bright or dark, I wouldn't know, but I know that's one thing that they would have had with me in regards to my mom, because they didn't really like her too much.
Wow. I don't know if we could fast forward a little bit
Yeah,
to
sure.
the situations that you found yourself in. First of all, the domestic abuse. I know you said you were living with a friend, and then a male came into the household, and there was some abuse around that, and then the self-harm, that episode of self-harm, which obviously would have been very painful.
Well, to be
chapters in your
honest,
life.
I thought I was going to talk about the pain in regards to the self-harm, because to be honest, you ever hear like when, and I mean thinking back is crazy to me, because I never thought that I would have ended up in these types of situations, especially with the self-harm and the homelessness, and well the abusive situation that I was in, because as I say, it was after I ended up moving out from by my relatives, knocking pillar to post, and I was able to reach out to her. She was a long-time friend of mine. I was able to get back into contact with her, explaining my situation with my mom and everything, and she allowed me to come and stay by her. And things were fine at first, but then she told me this friend of hers, he coming to stay, and I was like, well, okay, no problem. I had my own little room. She had her own room as well too, and he would come. At first he was cool, he was normal, he didn't show any weird signs, or to say he was openly aggressive or anything. But over time I realized like that was her boyfriend of hers, but I also was thinking in the back of my head, well, okay, well, if there's your boyfriend, what you so ashamed about then? But then when the mask fall off and he started to show this whole different side, is then I realized, well, okay, now I realize why she clearly didn't tell me that
He may have been a boyfriend or an ex that was just seeking a port for a storm.
Yeah.
Right? And took advantage of that situation.
Yeah. And to go into depth with the abuse, especially, he was verbally abusive, physically abusive, emotionally abusive towards her and towards me. And he would come and go ever so often, and then it got to the point where he was just staying there. And I remember thinking to myself,
But he put him out of field.
my goodness, this was not supposed to be part of the plan. It was not part of the plan. I was not looking forward to this at all. I mean, nobody does. Nobody would want that to happen to them,
Certainly. And what was her response to his abuse?
She would justify everything. She would justify everything. And I'm trying to have a conversation with her like, no, this not normal. Right. This not normal. Look, he lashing you and he lashing me and he cussing and he carrying on, and sometimes he used to deal with drugs. So sometimes when he would come back there, well, at the time when I would have called their home, because that's where I was staying, And sometimes he intoxicated, sometimes he high, he throwing things, he picking up things to hit us with. And at one point he picked up a grater and was like hitting her and then hitting me. It was just because I have scars on my body from surviving those things, and she too would have had scars on her body as well. It had a lot of times where I had experienced getting beaten by him, and then again I have nowhere else to go, and I'm thinking to myself, well, all right, I don't want this to happen, but I'm just trying to stick it through, because each time I tell myself, okay, eventually this will be over at some point. I was also in the midst of trying to switch jobs as well too, and he was a well-known person. So sometimes when I would come home, he would like brag about, he's like, I know you was XYZ place. And I'm like, well, how you know that? And then he would brag and talk about, you know, he have links here and there, and because he was a well-known person in the community now. So the community was like his play field, you know, he was like the one in control.
Wow.
Yeah. Punches, slaps, kick, try to choke you or to make you pass out. Had experienced those things. It had times I'd visit the hospital too because of it. And of course, having to now go to work and trying to cover that up, because you know you don't want nobody to mind your business. And yeah, whether you wear on the little makeup to try to, you know.
Cover the marks.
Yeah.
And if, in case anybody's wondering why any of these abusive episodes were not reported, suffice it to say that most abuse like of this kind is not reported for fear of more retribution and for fear of the authorities not taking you seriously.
Yeah, because if you report it and he gets pulled in, when he come back home, it's more like...
It's worse, correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because
So that,
especially when he has connections,
yes.
to powerful people.
Yes.
You know, and how did that... I mean, you know, sometimes, Natasha, you know, I would say, you know, you would meet people in different workspaces and they would be very curt, very discourteous at times, but you really don't know. You have to give way because you don't know what's going on at home.
Yep.
So that person you would meet at a counter, whether it's in the public service or private sector, and they're very, you know, short and rough with you, and you're like, Gil, what is wrong with you? Why are you talking? Not knowing that they could be experiencing something like this.
Absolutely.
And they trying to be normal because they have to work.
And with me especially at that time, again, going back to the fact that I had no real confidence in myself, already was depressed, already dealing with coming out of the situation with my mom, knowing what my family thought of me, and then the situations with that too, and then the verbal and the physical things I experienced at the friend's home. All that now just sink me further and further to the point where I felt suicidal.
Did he try to assault you sexually?
It had times he was sexually perversive as well with me, where he would like grope me or touch me in a particular way, and like I would try to fight him off and be like, you know, like, leave me alone, I don't want you touching me. This is wrong. I don't want this. And
he's in a relationship with the person you stay with.
Yeah, and it had times, like, if it is I would like retaliate and try to push him off, he would try to choke me until I pass out, and then I wake up, you know. So, but
didn't this make you hate yourself?
At that time, yeah. At that time, I'd really hated myself because, as I said, I was suicidal. Thankfully, it never got to the point where he raped me, thank God, but he had touched me inappropriately on several occasions. And even when I told the friend at the time about it, again, it was like it would just go through one eyes and come out the next, but
because
she was
she
going
probably
through
in the same mindset. She is powerless.
Yeah, so I had already realized that, so I understood where she would have been, because the same way I was scared, she was scared too.
Yeah.
You know.
No, you thought about suicide, but you didn't attempt to do it.
No.
But you harmed yourself.
Yeah.
Tell us how you did that.
Yeah. So there was a day where, you know how sometimes people could have mental breakdowns?
Yeah.
Yes.
And at this point in time, it wasn't the first time I had a mental breakdown. It would have been my second time. The first time I had a mental breakdown was when my dad was dying, and where it had the hospice care and we was trying to take care of him, and the whole mental exhaustion with that, with the family and trying to take care of him, and things with my mom, and where she have the conflict with them. And a day I just had a mental breakdown. I was crying and then I started laughing, and I had no idea what I was laughing for, but I know I feel like I was going mad. And at that moment, that is exactly like it just happened. I was just there alone thinking about everything, like, okay, like from beginning again, thinking back to with my mom, being by the relatives, jumping from here to there, all the different instances of abuse and the attacks and stuff going on in my mind. And then I just had a full-on mental breakdown. He was a person that could have fixed things, because I think he used to be a mechanic at one point. He good with carpentry and stuff, so he had like a toolbox there in the home. And I just picked up adrenaline. Adrenaline is like I was so disappointed in myself. It's like I was suicidal, but I'm not going to do it. But because I was so disappointed in myself, because I was so angry with Suzanne at the time, it's like I wanted Suzanne to feel
Pain.
yeah, like a punishment kind of way. You know, your mind could make you think some kind of weird things sometimes. And I reached for a hammer, pounded this hand, but in the midst I still crying, I still having the mental breakdown. And by the time I came to, because it was this hand and it was this hand, but in the midst I still like just screaming, but the adrenaline going.
No, I'm looking at your hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, probably the audience won't be able to see it, but
Yeah.
you took a hammer in your right hand.
Mm-hmm.
You put your hand on a table and you
The
pound
ground. It's
on
the
the
ground,
ground.
actually, yeah.
and you pounded your right hand, your left hand first.
Mm-hmm. And then
And then you had enough adrenaline, even though your fingers were mangled, you had enough adrenaline to hold the hammer in your left hand and do it to your right hand as well.
yeah. And in that moment, I was not feeling any pain at all, because the adrenaline was just going. I was having the mental breakdown. I was in so much pain. I was just going, screaming. And then now the friend, she came in. And then by the time it really real, it was like if I was possessed, to put it simply. That is how
Right.
it felt. Like it didn't feel like me at all. By the time I realized what really had happened, and seeing like my fingers like blood, just blood at the time, and I like shaking and trembling, because now I like, oh my gosh, what the hell I just do? And now I'm trying to cover up my hands without the front to see. But she ended up coming in. She like, what the hell going on with you? Why you crying? Then she like, oh my gosh, what happened to your hands? If you come home, don't let him see, because you know he gonna trip off for that, and I don't want to get no licks, and wait as you're doing it, you're trying to put me in problems. And it was
Was
a
she worried
whole
about him than your
argument.
hands?
Yeah, it was a whole argument from there, and I just like started screaming. I was like, I didn't want this to happen, and you know, like, oh, like, you know, like, it was so hard for me to be able to express myself in that moment, because I was just like screaming. I was just like screaming, crying, but I'd let you know, like, I didn't want this to happen. I didn't ask for this. Like, you know, like, it.
So since you worried about him now, and you have to go
Comfort
to the
would
hospital,
Yeah.
how did that work out?
So, whilst I was there crying, now he wasn't there. That it was in the night. That night he didn't come back home at the time. But I was there for some time, and she had mentioned, you know, like, your hands messed up, you need to go to the hospital at the same time. You know, and I was like, I was scared at first, but even in the midst there, I started praying. I started asking God to beg me for forgiveness. You know, like, I don't know what going on. I hurt, I depressed, I sad. I was starting to acknowledge really all of those things, because that now come like a, how to put it, not low point is the word I want to use, rock bottom.
Right.
Rock bottom. That and the homelessness was like rock bottom for me. It's like all the pain and the anger and the bitterness and the resentment and the unforgiveness I had all that time, is like I just take it out on myself. So now I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about, okay, I need to get to the hospital. How am I going to explain this to them? People might think, at first I was thinking people might think that I was crazy. I was kind of ashamed to explain to the doctors, like, what would they think? It was really, really weird, but I had to go to the hospital.
Right,
But for the benefit of the listener, and apologies if this conversation is triggering to you, some people who self-harm say that it allows them to disassociate, separating the mind
Who are accustomed to doing it.
from feelings that are causing that anguish, right? And this may be achieved by tricking the mind into believing that the present suffering being felt is caused by the self-harm instead of the issues that you're facing before. So the physical pain acts as a distraction from the emotional pain.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to Independency. If you join late, you need to go back to the start of this program, because we know some of you might be like, what am I listening to here? But you need to hear it from the beginning. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return now, we're going to talk about her journey to the hospital and then what happened after, because she ended up by Beverly. So I hope some of you are identifying with what this young lady is speaking about here today. And if you can spot it early in your home, deal with it, because you can lose your child. Your mom is still alive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's alive still.
All right. And did she know you ended up in the hospital with this issue?
No, not to my knowing, because I hadn't reached back. Well, she would have known after, when I got back into contact with her, and that is when I explained the homelessness part. She would have known I was in the hospital. But when it is I went to the hospital, because where I was staying...
We'll talk about that when you come back.
Okay,
Let's go to this break.
Sorry.
We'll be right back.
Grandma, it's Michael. I've got into trouble. I got arrested and I need a bit of help. But please don't tell Mum. She'll only worry. The lawyer says I need $3,000 right now.
Today, scammers can use artificial intelligence to copy the voice of someone you love.
Michael, what was the name of the dog we had when you were little?
A code word. A shared memory. Something only the real person would know. Scammers can steal voices, but they can't steal your memories. With artificial intelligence tools like these, they can pretend to be your bank, a family member, or an official institution, and they use fear, urgency, or sympathy to make you react without thinking. These scams are designed to pressure anyone, at any age. If something feels wrong, stop. Don't reply immediately. Check. Ask a question only the real person would know. Call back. Contact your family member using a trusted number. You're not alone. Talk to your family, your bank, your community. Sharing concerns helps everyone stay safer.
Hello? I'm out with some mates at the moment, Grandma. Is everything okay?
Scammers rely on fear and silence, but sharing what you know can protect you and the people you love. Remember, stop, check, protect.
Hello.
Hi, this is Patricia Kent from HMP London. Can I speak to Miss Sheila, please?
This is Miss Sheila.
Hi, I've got an important call for you. Please hold the line.
Mommy, it's Sherry.
Oh God, Sherry, we looking for you all the time. 3 weeks now. Where you going?
Mommy, I'm calling to tell you I get locked up. I had drugs in my luggage and I'm in England right now. In jail.
Oh God, Sherry, what? What you do? How you reach there? Oh God.
I know we got so.
Come on, Mommy, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. It'll be all right. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Eye on Dependency. Reality radio at its best every Sunday on I 95.5 FM. Don't miss it.
This is Eye on Dependency with Garth and Natasha. Sundays from 10 a.m. on the most influential name in radio, I 95.5 FM.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Eye on Dependency, and we are live on I 95.5 FM. If you're just joining us, you missed a lot. Thank you to those of you who are joining us online on YouTube. Thank you very much. Can we please get the likes up on that YouTube? We have 130 people watching on YouTube, but only 12 likes. We could do better than that. And on Facebook as well, please get the likes up on that live stream. Yes.
Two things here before we go back in. I hope you all paid attention to that ad that was played a while ago, the first one.
You could play it again before we go.
Yes. Now families must get a code word or some type of password. If your son, you get a call in night, whatever time, and Mom, I'm arrested and I need money quick, or somebody, AI now can actually imitate someone's voice.
Yep.
And the song is genuine and authentic. And you will transfer money to that person. And next thing you know, when the person reach home, you asking questions of how you could call me, and call the person first. Or if you get a call like that, okay, so then what's the password? And once they don't have, so you family members have to arrange that among yourself.
Yes.
You
Ask
know?
them a question that only they would know
Yes,
the answer to.
right. So when somebody calls you with that scam, ask them a question that only your child can answer. And once the person cannot do it, hang up. You know, just, and then call your child immediately, or call your relative immediately. And of course, I got a call today too we got a call from someone with a potential human trafficking issue. And so right away, I knew that was out of our league, so I passed the person on to the counter-trafficking unit. Remember, people, if you know of or suspect human trafficking, you have a counter-trafficking unit here in Trinidad and Tobago, led by, of course, the director, Dean Marie Marshall. You just call 1-800-4CTU. Please, if you suspect, or because that's what I eventually ended up doing, and I'm guessing that they took care of the issue, but someone called frantically looking for help for their child, and the CTU was there to intervene. So remember, 1-800-4CTU.
4288.
Call them, and they will take care of these issues. And of course, get a password for your family members, a code word, anything, so that nobody could call you and trick you into handing over any valuables. All right? So let's go back to Suzanne. And so you're going to the hospital. Did the lady carry you, your friend carry you to the hospital, or you had to travel for yourself?
No, it was walking distance from the hospital.
Thankfully.
Actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So I went.
Which hospital?
Did, San Fernando General Hospital.
All right.
She did help me pack some stuff. We went. I obviously had to stay there, obviously, to get surgery on my hands. It was so bad that this finger here, you notice it will never be able to bend again, because you know your fingers naturally have a soft tissue area on the top here, allowing for it to bend. So when they did the surgery, I'd almost lost this finger actually.
Right.
So
wow.
I forget the actual name of the wire, but to put it in simple terms, is a wire they had to put. So I'd remain with deformities in 1, 2, 3. Yeah, these 4 fingers, 40% of my fingers. But thankfully, by the grace of God, as much as they will never look normal again, I could still function with them.
Right.
Actually, to be honest, with the things that I'm doing now, I never even thought that I would even be able to do the things that I could do now with these hands still. So thankfully, I'm still able to use them. I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks at the time. The whole time I was praying. The friend, she did come back to visit. I had spoken to her. I was saying I wanted to get my things. Well, obviously, at this point now, he knew that I was in the hospital. Yeah. But thankfully, he didn't show up or make a scene or anything, because knowing how he is, he's a don't care kind of person. Yeah. But whole time I was still, hoping and praying and, that things would turn around, and just asking God for that protection. I was real disappointed in myself, especially because, when it is we don't take direction from the Father, we put ourselves in problems. He could tell us to go one way, and of course in human nature we feel the need to go the next way, or we allow ourselves to be deceived or go down a wrong path. I was real disappointed in myself with that especially. I know I was disappointed in myself. I was real hard on myself with that, but I prayed to him and forgive myself now for that especially, and just for all what I would have done to myself, all those situations that I've allowed myself to be in, especially with being depressed and not being ambitious and not having a better esteem for myself to be somebody that I could be at that time. I'd held on to that especially for a really, really long time. If it is I was ambitious, I could have make it further if I didn't stick up on the mommy and daddy. I was like that for a long time, but I've come to the place where I forgive myself. Yes, Suzanne, sorry, I was there. Shanique is my middle name, sorry. Sometimes my family just call me my middle name too. Yes, Suzanne, you was there, but you're no longer there. So I learned to forgive myself.
So how long you stayed in the hospital for?
3 weeks.
3 weeks, and then
3 weeks. Eventually, I was able to get my other things after I was able to get discharged.
No, but your two hands banded up, right? Both hands.
Both hands, yeah.
So how were you performing normal daily tasks?
No, at that time, a friend, she was helping me, but whilst I was in the hospital, I was there to recover because obviously I couldn't do anything at the time.
Right.
So when my hand was able to get to a point where it could function, because I started physiotherapy in the hospital.
Okay.
And then after that, they discharged me.
Right.
I was able to get the rest of my things because I'd made up my mind to go. I'd pray and ask about it, ask God for that protection. That day, the guy was not there. Thankfully, I was able to get my stuff. And
where did you go?
I stayed at the hospital.
Not on the bed, not in a ward.
No. You know the entrance?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I had stayed there. My friend, she was asking like, well, where else you're going to go? I was like, I will figure it out. I will figure it out.
But I'm not coming back by you.
Yeah. And so I went up there. I'd explained the situation to the security guards at the time because I didn't want them to think, well, who is this? If you're sitting down there for a time, they will ask a question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd explained the situation to them. Hi, my name is Suzanne. This is the situation. I was so-and-so place. I was in the hospital, thing. I'd explain everything to them, and I have nowhere to go. I'd been released from the hospital. Now I'm here. I'm trying to see if it is I could reach out to somebody or get information to get to a home or something to that effect. Is it okay if I could stay here for the time being? Thankfully, they said yes. They didn't run me out in any way or... Because to be honest, I was expecting they might have said, well, okay, but you could stay for a certain period of time. Because,
Or you can't stay at all.
Yeah, because, there's not a place to stay. It's a gated area.
Yeah, because you can bring a TV eventually.
Exactly.
Exactly.
No,
so how long did you end up staying there?
I was there for 3 days. 3 days. And the whole time, of course, I was begging people for money. I mean, in the moment,
You had to beg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, it was normal at first in the sense it's like I know I need to get this, but eventually after time, it started to feel embarrassing. Like, oh gosh, this is what I had to do. Like, I really want to get out of this situation, but I was asking around to people who was there at the time. Anybody know of any shelters, any place? Well, again, my hands was to a point where I could use it. So I had my phone. I was trying to get out to places that through Facebook, through Google, any place that I could get. I wasn't making any progress. Well, of course, it have the canteen area on the side. So whenever I was able to get a little money, I would buy things from there and eat. Go in the washroom area, sponge off, change a top, change my jeans. But I was there for 3 days. And I wasn't able to get onto any shelter at the time. And even with the recommendations that people gave, it was either if I sent out a message on Facebook or anything, I wasn't getting any response. And I had decided, because out of desperation too, and reaching like a block point, I wasn't making any progress. I'd reached out to one of my cousins on my dad's side of family and my mom, and I'd explained to her where I was, what transpired. I didn't let her know that I was staying by my dad's side of family, but I just gave her the brief nutshell of where I was, what had happened, and I am homeless at that time, and I would like to be able to get into a shelter. She appeared, shocked at the time, and she wanted to help, and she did help. She was able to get on to Serenity Place. I think it had another place she was trying to get on to, but she didn't get through at the time.
So
but
hold
she
on.
got
So that's your mom. So she didn't say, "Girl, come back here home. This is your home. I'm your mother." She didn't say that.
No. But
are you kidding?
But, and I mean, I knew that she wouldn't do that. But regardless, I knew if I was to go back, she would have eventually continued
the abuse.
Yeah. And that's something I don't want. And I mean, she has her own life, she has her own place, but I need to stand on my own 2 feet.
Understood.
I have to figure out.
But it's your mother.
Yeah.
And she wasn't hearing from you for a while.
Yeah.
And like the phone call, Sherry called her mother, "Girl, all this time we looking for you, where you going?" That didn't happen. She just said, "Look, yeah, okay, I'll go find a place for you." And
but it still worked out in my favor because I'm grateful and thankful. Well, my cousin, she was the source of transport. So she and my mom liaised together. And my cousin, she came and she got me. When I came to Serenity Place, when my mom came down, same time with my cousin. So not long after my cousin came with me, my mom came. And when I initially saw her at first, she looked terrible. Like, she looked like she had like a lot of stress. Her face was sunken in. She looked like she was just going through it. That's how she looked.
So which means it didn't work out too well with the uncle?
Yeah, clearly.
Okay.
Clearly.
Or just in life, just life.
Let's talk to Beverly. Let's talk to Beverly for a minute. Beverly, Beverly, I know you tried your best to contain yourself while you're sitting here with us. But what a story.
Is this a first for Serenity Place?
Yes,
Have you
when
ever
got this
had...
phone call?
Yeah.
You need some water, Beverly? Oh, Jesus, we can laugh about this now.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, all the listeners.
Morning.
Ah, boy, yeah. This Suzanne story is unique. It's unique. I mean, we've had so many stories come into Serenity Place, but this was a unique one, especially with regards to the self-harm. We've had self-harm, but not to this depth, not to this extent, and when Suzanne came to us with her mom and her cousin, her mom really looked distraught and she was crying and she was, where was my daughter? I wanted to find my daughter for so long, and she was concerned and she showed a lot of concern and worry in tears. And the cousin just sat there and was just looking, And after the interview and stuff like that, Suzanne agreed to stay, and we took her, and she's been with us. She's done very well for herself so far. She came in as very timid and lost and lonely, but she has grown from strength to strength. She used the program to help her to be where she is today, She used the tools of the program. She listened, she followed simple instructions, she got involved in all aspects of the program, and today she's at a better place. She's not fully there yet. She still has a lot of things to deal with, but she has come a long way, you know, and this is in November 2024. She's been by me, and
Okay.
she's still there, you know, and she's pursuing her entrepreneurship skills, and
Right.
she's doing very well, you know.
But I mean, for you, Beverly, as the manager of a drug treatment facility, essentially, it's very interesting to see that you can respond as well to Suzanne's situation, even though she's not addicted to a substance necessarily. What is the importance of facilities like yours being open
Yes.
to accepting persons who
Because you
would
see-
benefit from the resource, the
because
program?
Suzanne could have gone into drugs.
Correct.
Right? She
Yes.
was
Right,
predisposed.
so she's at
She
risk.
was predisposed.
Right. Okay,
Her
okay.
inner strength kept her away from it.
Right.
You know, and this is why Serenity Place is an empowerment center for women.
Yes, yes.
Because, and homelessness, domestic violence, and all these related issues, you know, substance use disorders are all related.
Yep.
So you find that once a woman come to Serenity Place, or somebody call and ask for help, and they talk about what their issues are, it encompasses all issues that women go through and women struggle with. So we at Serenity Place use the therapeutic community approach to treatment to assist these women, to help them to empower themselves so that they can be reintegrated into society, productive, motivated, and independent. You know, it's like woman helping woman to help herself. So you come in with your skill, you help me, I can't read, you could read, you help me to read, I can't cook, you help me to cook, you know. So, and hence the reason why Serenity Place is unique.
Indeed.
You know.
Indeed. And bravo to you. Bravo to
Yes.
all of the ladies
Thank
at
you,
Serenity
thank you.
Place for encouraging that that therapeutic community, as you say, can help not just persons who have substance use disorder, but any woman, especially in this instance, who is in need of some upliftment, the empowerment, the sisterhood that is built in these communities.
I mean, if they come to us before they use the drug, and we can
Yes.
help in that way, prevent them from going to that going in that direction. I mean, come on,
Catch them before.
Yeah, catch
and
them before.
You know, I
Before
was
they-
saying to Suzanne of just now that she should be on a TED Talk. You know, she should be a guest for TED Talk, because it's, you know, this whole situation, families, boy, oh my God. Families could really mess you up, you know.
Yes.
And I'm listening, and I am picturing myself too, you know, with my family, and I often wonder why I kind of blame myself too for my being estranged from, you know, my brother and I would speak, yes, but there's this ambivalence, and because I was, you know, I shouldered part of the blame for breaking up my family, and the experience that I would have put them through. So I could understand. I thought about, I won't go into, it's not about me, it's about you today, Suzanne. And, you know, there are a number of people, especially, and thank you to all the comments we're getting from you on Facebook and YouTube, especially Rosemary out there in Brooklyn. Thank you very much. Thank you, for Suzanne, for telling your story. Hope someone listening will get help. Your story is sad when parents don't listen to their children, cries, and support them all the way. And
but I wanted to ask
Petra,
Suzanne.
just let me just say,
sorry.
Petra said, thank goodness the hospital security was kind-hearted.
Yes,
and that
indeed.
is so true.
Yes.
You know, was it
'Cause they could
MTS?
have
It's
run
still
her?
MTS? Green? The green
Yeah, yeah,
before?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
'cause they
you see,
could have-
They have dual role, because MTS helped run me down to the cash where I stole the woman of money in the hospital. So they.
One thing I noticed from yeah, like, especially because even with the guy too, like he could have come up and make a scene. Like, it had so many instances that the security, me still being able to get my bag, so much windows of opportunity of grace, and where God worked to just disallow certain things from happening.
Yes.
So that
Bless
I
their
could have been
hearts.
able to get a way out, because it could have been totally different. They could have told me, no, you can't stay here.
Yes. Or
Yeah.
they could have raped you one night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody could have planned for you and rape you. Yeah.
And a big part of this whole message is too, you know, it's so easy, especially with culture and society and the world, and you know, it's very easy to be consumed by your pain. Again, it have those who end up committing suicide. The didn't live to tell the story. It have those who end up murdered, who, you know, but you are not your mistakes, your wrongdoings, the things that happened to your past. You are not the negative things that people have done to you or said to you. You are who God called you and who Christ make you to be. Everybody is wonderfully and beautifully made in His image. And I hope that more and more people they just get to know that. They get to know that they are here for a purpose. Everybody's here for a purpose. Some people walk around and they're thinking, why born, you know, I must be a mistake, but that is not true. Nobody's a mistake and everybody is special in his or her own way. Everybody have talents and gifts and abilities and a purpose where we could be able to contribute to society and help uplift each other in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
No, there are parents out there who want their child to live their dream.
Yes.
And what would you say to them? Because, you know, because you're not interested in the religion that they're following, you become the enemy.
The pariah.
Yeah, and the pariah in the family. What would you say to them now, parents who are listening?
For parents who are like that, I would say learn to love yourself. Because you see, when it is, and let go of your past, because you see, when it is, as a parent, you're coming from a premise like that, you know, you didn't get certain opportunities, or you so wanted to be this and that, and you're trying to live through your child now. It was like you're putting your identity in those things and not putting your identity in Christ. So, you know, let go of the past, sit down with yourself, find out about why it is, you know, you felt the way that you felt, spend some time with you. And I mean, yes, letting go of the past may seem easier said than done, but we have to let go, because if it is we don't let go, we will drag that into the present, and you will be bitter, you will have unforgiveness, you'll be unhappy, and you will not be able to make progress in your present, neither to move on into your future. Because a lot of parents who do these things, who live through their children, they're still unhappy with themselves. You know, so I would say, hopefully, try to reach that place where you could empty from within. Try to find out why it is you as a person ended up wanting to put your identity in this type of life that you so want your child to live, because you want to live through that child.
Right.
And seek to get to know who you are. Love yourself. We have to love ourselves, because if we don't love ourselves, we will not be able to extend that to our children, and they will not be able to extend that to their children. You can't give what you don't have.
Right.
So it all comes back to having confidence and love for yourself.
Yeah.
And I would also say too, you know, be open-minded. Not only a parent have a voice, your child or your children have a right to express themselves as well.
Right.
So, you know, be open-minded. Say what you have to say, yes, but hear from your child. Don't just ignore them. Listen to them. Listen to what they're saying and what they're not saying. Because our body language also demonstrates things that we don't say as well. Pay attention to your children. Because a lot of children, they grow up quiet like me, and they're crying out in silence, so to speak, and they don't know how to express themselves. Sometimes, not parents, sometimes children want to express themselves, but they're afraid, because the first thing, the parents might cuss them, they might look to lash them or beat them, and, you know, it just tear down their confidence. So, you know, and I mean, that is not the right way. And again, that too comes back from, especially for parents that came from the long time parenting where everything, you know, you
do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, and you get licks for every little thing,
yes,
or, you know.
Yes.
But the end result don't be good. So, you know, pay attention to your child. The same way you as a child would have wanted to be able to be heard, try to extend that to your child. Listen to your child.
No, Beverly, there's another situation facing parents out there now with substance abuse. And they seem to be up in arms. And you know, I want to say to one or two of the people who reach out to us, as you know, we have our challenges here as well. Yes. So I'm trying to, at times it gets overwhelming. I mean, it's 24 years we're doing this. So there are times that people would reach out to us for help, and I have to take some time to find out who I could pass them on to so that they could take up that load while we try to get back on terra firma here on our independency. Are you, and Natasha, could you share Serenity Place number for the public
Yes,
again?
of course. I just put it in the chat on Facebook. They I put a link to their page on Facebook.
No.
Yes, but the number that the number you could reach Serenity Place Empowerment Center for Women, which is located at Cochrane Village, Guapo Point 14, is 794 7980. 794
328 6298.
or 328 6298.
Yes. So Beverly, again, a child is in denial, a parent seeing a child going down, using drugs, and what do you say to this parent? You know, now, especially now, where they do even have to look for marijuana or any long. They have other things now that children can use and still achieve getting high and sometimes getting in trouble.
So true, God. You know, parents need to spend time with the children. That is what is lacking. Parents give the children up to social media. You know, social media has become a babysitter.
And devices,
you know,
yes.
and all types of devices. So when mommy come home, she tired, go on your tablet, go on your phone, give them the phone, you know, and they don't pay attention to the children. They don't look at the signs the children are showing. You might see the child sitting down quiet, and you'll tell, well, she quiet, she good. She ain't saying nothing, so okay, you know.
Yes.
And they're not looking at the children, and parents need to pay attention and to listen, as Suzanne was saying. Listen to your child, listen to what she's saying. A number of times children come to parents and they push them away. Oh gosh, you know, they come for a hug and they push, oh gosh, leave me alone now. You know, hug your child, tell her that you love her, tell him that you love him, you know. Find out how they're going, how was your day, what's happening with you. You know, and notice you come home and you're just not talking. What's going on? Did something happen in school? You know, who are your friends? Get to know who their friends are. Get to know what they're doing. Check their school bags. You know, parents often don't have time. They don't do these things because they figure, well, okay, you know, some parents feel, well, I have a good child, so that child ain't doing nothing. But that is the child who doing the most. You know, that is the child who doing the most.
The quiet ones, they really need to
yes, those are the ones that you have to focus on and pay attention to.
Yes.
And parents really need to get involved in their child's life. And that is what is lacking. Because of the economy, I mean, you know, every parent working, both parents working, and they come home late. Sometimes parents don't see their children for 2 or 3 days. They leave early in the morning. They come home late in the night when they're sleeping. And every time they see their child, they're sleeping, you know. But they have to find that time. You have to make that time as a parent, you know, to spend that time with that quality time with your children. It
and
is
you know,
so
Beverly,
critical.
Strangely enough, the burden of parenthood usually falls on women, right?
Yes, tell me about it.
Who now in turn have to try and protect themselves and take care of themselves and make sure that they don't fall into the same traps of addiction.
Hence the reason why the children end up being child parents. Right? The children end up being child parents because when the mother come home and she's so tired and overburdened and overloaded, you go and cook, you clean, you wash, you take care of your brother and your sister. And so the child grew up being a parent before it being a child. You know, so a lot of parents didn't have childhood.
Correct.
You know, and it is very sad. And I mean, with all these examples of the stories that we hear on Independency, it is time that parents take an active role in the child's life.
Absolutely.
Because the drug pusher out there and the pushers out there,
they would be the parents.
They don't care, you know,
No.
they want money.
They will spend all the time to make sure this child feels loved and wanted and appreciated,
And
right?
remember, we have legal drugs.
Through material things.
Yes.
And remember, we have illegal drugs and we have legal drugs too, right? So please pay close attention. People might be using stuff to numb pain, and you know, Suzanne is a perfect example of what that was about. Suzanne, we're glad to know that now you found a true mother. And yeah,
yes, and I wanted to ask a question along that line now that you
and we can probably take your calls too.
Yes.
For if you have any word, any kind word for Suzanne, any word of support, and of course for the work Beverly doing. So
right. So now, before you go, just as you at Serenity Place now, as a space which is designed for healing and it's the right place for you to be. What does it mean to you to now have a safe space to breathe, to be heard, and to rebuild your life? What does it mean?
Yes, we'll take your calls in 2 minutes, right? So hold on.
To me, freedom, strength, confidence, maturity as well too. I am still in shock about the fact that I am actually at this point, and obviously not in a negative way, in a very positive way, to not have come such a long way. And, with me and the entrepreneurship, that come into pass. I remember one of the assignments we had to do was we had to make a vision board. And when I look at my vision board, it actually have aspects of it that already come into pass. So, things like that is a huge motivation, is a big sense of encouragement to keep moving forward. So that's what that represents for me. Great. And of course, most importantly, being able to walk closer with God and building a relationship with Him. I wanted to add, I could say one more thing.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
In regards to how Miss Beverly was talking about, when people have like a quiet trying to think that the child good. Yes. That's how it was with me. Like, even though I wasn't in any kind of trouble with drugs or anything, or but because I was always well-mannered, well-disciplined, quiet, I know that's how my family would have looked at me. Well, okay, well, yeah, she don't give no trouble, so to speak, so then she don't have any trouble going on with her, so to speak. But that is still a wrong concept. Not because a child may not be given trouble doesn't mean that they don't have internal troubles going on. I think it's also a really important thing as well too, in getting to know your children. Your children should get to know you because they may be going through things that you probably went through, and now in turn where you explaining your life story to your children, they could get to understand certain things or understand why they may be experiencing certain turning points in their life. So the same way you have to get to know your child should get to know you as well. Yep.
If you're just joining us, 622-3937, you can give us a call now. If you have any words of encouragement for Suzanne and what you thought about her story, 622-3937. Let's take our first call. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
All right. I am listening. Very good program, as usual, by you people.
Thank you.
Morning to Kat, Miss Natasha, and everybody else who is there. That young lady has inspired me. Are you still there?
Yes, we're listening.
Right?
She's listening as well.
I too, she reminded me of while my trauma wasn't as hers was. Trauma is trauma. And to me, it sounds like she went to some days at the doctor's there, but I salute her for being able to come out and talk about it, because that in itself is a kind of healing, getting it out and letting others know that if you could do it, others could do it too. And
Thank you very much for saying that. Thank you. Yes.
I commend the young lady for that, and I commend you, Mr. God, and your crew for bringing this awareness, because this is the kind of awareness that we need. You understand? I hope that tell me something. This Serenity House that you all talking about there, is it a place like somebody could just come and talk to somebody?
Yes, you can.
Yes, it is a Serenity Place Empowerment Center for women. So they do focus on
but
women.
Beverly saying you could still come and talk. You know,
still share.
Yes, you could still reach out.
Yes.
I have a friend. Well, I protege, he's talked to me, but I've been through that. But I think that the professionals will be able to give them a better insight of things. But very good program. Young lady, I salute you.
Thank you.
You encourage me. If I tell you something, I say down here and I can't come out my car. I still listen to the program. you bring chills down my spine because that is how I was.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and it's by the grace of God that I'm here today.
Amen.
And I'm so glad that someone like you came on here today and share this awareness because it's going on with a lot of people and a lot of people don't know it because a lot of people just not talking. They keep listening to this thing.
Yep.
Right? Anyway, I'm going to give somebody else a chance.
Bless you, my brother.
That good program, Miss Natasha. Good program. A little stop, because the nation need it now.
Yes.
Especially in this night. Good day to you all. And I'll look on and listen.
Thanks very
Thank
much.
you very much. Take care. Although, hello, good morning.
Morning, Mr. God. Morning, Mr.
Good morning. Take off your radio first, please.
The young lady that there?
Yes.
You keep on and you have high spirit. I know what you're going through.
Thank you.
I know this very well. And your mother, she needs help. You have to pray for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to pray for her loud. Because if you is her only daughter and she treats you like that because you remove from what religion they belong to and things, that is not love.
Exactly.
Right? That is not love. And then another thing, I listened to you good. Your father died and she went with your uncle. And you're bullying you, and she vexed because you go into another religion. What an example of what she's telling you.
Yeah.
So she have you in that situation. She will come and help you. And you could have done worse than 20 things bad.
Yeah.
You could have done 20 things. Because I listen to this program good. It's amazing to see. That's why they say, see my mother, I just cherish her love for every day. I talk about people. My mother is a single parent. My father left us when we was about 7 years. I didn't know my father. When he went Canada to live. When a plane passed, I bought him going on the road. Plane. Bring my father. And when I was about 16, my father come back to Trinidad. And my stepmother came with a mister. Tall like my father, fair skin like my father. And I remember my mother disappeared. I running hugging up the man. Daddy, mommy come. No, that is not your father. Yes, I mean?
Yeah.
So parents really have to pay attention. You make a child see about it, and the child is asked to come here.
Correct.
And you're your mother only daughter, and she treats you like, hello, if you want to go, that is not my business.
Yeah.
No, that is not nice. But thank God, God stand by you, show you the way and lift you up, and people help you.
Yes.
And thank God for that.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Morning to you.
Hi, morning.
And the guest. A very good program. But I have listened to you and the person who was given his revelation of the issue. But I would like, if it is possible, that you can give a little on that AI theory that is now being exposed to the world.
Yes.
But the danger that it can affect the underdeveloped country. And I appreciate if all you can give a little more. What is the definition of AI? And to the poor and destitute of the underdeveloped country.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks
very
much.
Yes,
We'll
we
have
will
to
do
look
that.
into that.
Good point.
Yes.
Because we'll play the promo before we leave again for you to hear. AI means artificial intelligence. And it means that somebody can actually copy your voice and use it to call, and make it sound like I calling my mother and asking for help, or calling a friend and asking for help, and say, look, I'm stranded in Barbados here, wire some money for me, and you'll do it because you recognize the person's voice, not knowing it's AI. All right, so, but we will engage the cyber crimes unit and have them in here Sunday so that they can take us through and how to counteract and how to combat fallen victims.
A short, simple definition of art.
We have somebody holding. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to Natasha, God,
morning.
Beverly,
Long time when you hear
and
this voice,
Suzanne.
morning.
Suzanne is so articulate. You know, you can tell that she comes out of an environment of, you know, a particular, she said, middle class. But that doesn't matter. She has her challenges. But the dangerous thing that I hope that a lot of parents are paying attention to is trying to live their dreams through their children. It clouds their mind. It brings hatred because they're not seeing they're meeting their objectives and all of that. And everything breaks down. So parents, listen to that. Don't try to live your dreams to your children. Please, give them a chance to grow and be themselves.
Yes.
And to you, Suzanne, wow, you are, thank God you had found Christ. But although you were going through your challenges, he was still there with you, you know, in the back of your head, you know, nudging at you. Don't give up. I am going to release you of your challenges and so on. Wait on me, listen to me, hear me, and so on. I'm going to help you. And he has done. And he has taken you to Beverly. And you're in the arms of Beverly. And Christ working through Beverly to help you.
Yes.
You know, a wonderful program as per usual, Garth and Natasha. And I know people come forward so that this can continue. In Trinidad and Tobago now, people are depressed. People are going through a lot of things. They're suffering in silence. And my say is, one day it is going to explode.
Yeah.
Right? So continue your good work. We need you more than ever. Thank you, guys. God bless.
Take care, my dear. Sorry, Natasha. Okay, after this one, right?
Me.
Yes. Hello, good morning. Sorry.
Good morning to you guys.
Morning.
Natasha,
Facebook.
Miss Beverly, Miss Susan.
Good morning.
You all brought tears to my eyes. I am not in this situation, but I thought I was Suzanne then, going through all this drama and trauma. Suzanne, you're such a strong individual.
Thank you.
Tears came to my eyes. Tears. I'm still overwhelmed by my tears. But thank you, and keep up the good work.
Wow.
Thank you
Wow.
very much.
Go ahead, Natasha. Yes.
So, for the benefit of those who are wondering, what is AI? Artificial intelligence refers to the capability of computer systems to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence. These tasks may include learning, reasoning, problem solving, perception, and decision making. AI systems are designed to learn from data, identify patterns, and make predictions or decisions without needing explicit programming for every scenario. So in essence, that is what AI is.
Okay. Let's take another call. 6223937. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, first of all, I would like to give I'd like to commend the two guests that you'll have there. The story was very moving. I had to turn off a little bit when we got to certain parts with the hand, with the fingers and the hammer. I couldn't handle that one, but yeah.
Understandable.
So I would like to commend the two of them. You all have gone through a lot. God bless you. But God,
Thank you.
Yes.
I heard something before with this. What really going on? What kind of Terminator thing is this where people's voice could get? I don't know if you remember that movie.
AI.
Oh, the AI.
The promo that we showed. That is from you. We really need to play that again.
It actually reached there nowhere.
Yes. That is how AI uses computers to learn and to reproduce. So somebody could capture your voice, like from a voicemail message or something a video you have uploaded onto the internet. They capture that, put it into a system which can recreate the voice.
Yeah. This thing getting scarier and scarier and scarier. And all this science fiction thing that was, like I said, too many times again. People thought that people think that was just science fiction, but
no, it's real now.
It's a real thing.
Matter of fact, I saw a video with Arnold Schwarzenegger stating such that these things come in reality and it's scary,
Yep.
So people really gotta watch themselves. All right, thank you.
Take care, brother.
All right.
6223937, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good show, guys. I'm
you.
Natasha. I want to just find out, is Serenity House, they only have one location?
Serenity Place, yes, Cochrane Village.
Yes, Point Fortin.
Okay. And are they looking to spread their wings, like into Port of Spain?
Yes, once they get the assistance to do so.
Okay. And so, how many females is being housed at the one they have in South?
10.
10 currently.
10 currently, okay. And how is it funded? Is it getting funded through as
It's
an
a
NGO or
non-profit.
something?
Yes, it is a non-profit.
Okay,
NGO.
I will call the lady and I will inquire more.
Yes,
about
please.
It.
I put up the
Very
numbers in the Facebook, the
Yeah.
page on Facebook, and the numbers on YouTube, so you could go
Yeah,
back.
I'm quite certain once you work towards getting these young ladies to be gainfully employed and become rather independent and self-sufficient, they are going to be able to work towards bringing other females on stream too. So it works, it trickles down when you give back. All right.
Absolutely.
I'll call.
Thank
Beverly,
you.
Let's before I will play the promo for you after this call, right? So line up the promo, Natasha, so we can play it for people again. So pay attention, people. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I just want to thank you very much for providing a program that is really full of wholesome content and substance. To the young lady, I am inspired. Thank you very, very much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
To the Miss Beverly, thank you very much.
Yes.
I think the first thing is I don't have much money or anything like that, but I would like to contribute to your effort. How do I go about contributing to your effort?
Guys, to Independence or Beverly?
To Beverly.
So
you can call.
Yes, to Beverly. It is very, very inspiring.
Yes.
I'm going to share the number again so you could take it down. 794
794
7980
7980
or
yes.
328
328
6298.
6298. And could you just let me know the full name of the organization?
Serenity Place Empowerment Center for Women.
Serenity Place
Empowerment Center for Women.
Empowerment Center for Women. All right. I would like to contribute. I know you may have account numbers that you could people could contribute to. It's things like these. I know you're going to get a lot of calls, encouragement and words of affirmation, but we have to start as Trinidadians putting our money where our mouth is. And I would like to do that.
Well said, sir. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you for, this is hopeful.
Yes.
People call and talk about a lot of different things with regards to what is going wrong in the country. This is something that is going right with the country. And thank you again.
You're welcome,
Thank you
sir.
so much, sir, for your call and your contribution to come.
I wish and to those of you who are on YouTube right now and Facebook, think about this. If all of you contribute to our independency, now we have the begging bowl out now. We have never done this in the past 24 years. We've been here, and we try our best to not. We've done telethons for other people, but never for ourselves. So we asking those of you online looking on, if you're willing to contribute to our independency to keep us going, please call us. In the meantime, while we're waiting to get back on terra firma, please help us. Give us a call if you're willing to contribute to our independency. If those of you on YouTube right now donate, let's say $40 each. This
And
could
we
carry
have
us for
up
a
on the
couple
screen
Sundays.
now the how you can support our work.
Yes,
So you
sir.
could take down that bank account number and donate what you can. Every little bit is
Or
help.
call me at 756-6337 and we could speak about how you could become a part of our independency. But a lot of people have been, looking out for us. And once again, Mr. Roger Hamill-Smith, Caring Professionals, Network, NGOs, Mr. Gerard Wilson, Rex Vidal, and Margaret Miranda for staying on the phone and trying to get people to assist us as well. Natasha, you want to play that promo before we go again? Pay
Yes.
attention to this AI piece, please, people. Please.
Stormin' Tom.
Stormin'?
Tom.
Stormin'?
I'm gonna play a video. I'm gonna play this you and ODC.
You okay, Stormin' too hard here. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Today, scammers can use artificial intelligence to copy the voice of someone you love. Today, scammers can use artificial intelligence to copy the voice of someone you love. A code word, a shared memory, something only the real person would know.
Scammers can steal voices,
but they can't steal your memories. With artificial intelligence tools like these, they can pretend to be your bank.
No, it didn't. No, I wasn't hearing anything. You with? All right, I'm playing it again.
She'll only worry. The lawyer says I need $3,000 right now.
Today, scammers can use artificial intelligence to copy the voice of someone you love.
Michael, what was the name of the dog we had when you were little?
A code word, a shared memory, something only the real person would know.
Scammers can steal voices.
Hello?
Grandma, it's Michael. I've got into trouble. I got arrested and I need a bit of help. But please don't tell Mum. She'll only worry. The lawyer says I need $3,000 right now.
Today, scammers can use artificial intelligence to copy the voice of someone you love.
Michael, what was the name of the dog we had when you were little?
A code word, a shared memory, something only the real person would know.
Scammers can steal voices,
but they can't steal your memories. With artificial intelligence tools like these, they can pretend to be your bank, a family member, or an official institution, and they use fear, urgency, or sympathy to make you react without thinking. These scams are designed to pressure anyone, at any age. If something feels wrong, stop. Don't reply immediately. Check. Ask a question only the real person would know. Call back. Contact your family member using a trusted number. You're not alone. Talk to your family, your bank, your community. Sharing concerns helps everyone stay safer.
Hello? I'm out with some mates at the moment, Grandma. Is everything okay?
Scammers rely on fear and silence, but sharing what you know can protect you and the people you love. Remember, stop, check, protect.
Yep.
Right, so that's it, folks. Thank you for the extra time, Tom, for that PSA. And please pay attention, folks. So if your son calls you and asks you for money, then you ask him, so where were you born? Or give me a date of birth, or what's my middle name? That kind of thing, you know. You'll come up with, and now somebody could do proper research on you and could answer all of that.
Yes.
So you need to have a special word, code word, that only that unique to that person, and you all could come together, come up with some names, so that's for security. That's a security check. You know, like when you call the bank and they verify, you know, like what's your favorite food or movie or pet name or where you went to school, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Right. So you all come up with your defense. And like I said, we'll have the cybercrime unit in here to discuss this. So folks, thanks again. Suzanne, thank you very much. Beverly, thank you.
Yes.
You know, that the credits rolling now as you hear the
Way
music in the
over time,
background.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So, but
they're telling us.
we go on. Okay, take care.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Yes, take care.